wrestling fans? My name is Brian Crazy. You're watching my brand, That From Brand of Wrestling, and entertainment here on YouTube.com and the World Wide Web since 2010, providing you with the wrestling news, reviews, rumors, insight that you're growing accustomed to. And you saw the title of this video. I am back with my review of TNA Impact Wrestling for January 10th, 2013. We start off the show with a recap of the events of the last few weeks, and then we go to the ring. The Insane Icon Sting, Kurt Angle, and Samoa Joe make their way down to the ring, and then Mr. Anderson is called out. These guys go back and forth, and later on tonight, Mr. Anderson will square off against Kurt Angle. Then we go into the first match of the night. It is an X Division contest. Kenny King squared off against Zema Ion, and this was probably match of the night. This was an incredible contest, just like the marquee says, total nonstop action. It was a phenomenal match. Kenny King ended up picking up the win over Zema Ion, and post-match he ended up grabbing the microphone from Christy Hemme, saying Christy Hemme will be the one that announces him the new X Division champion come this Sunday. He will square off against Christian York, and the winner of that match will end up fighting the X Division champion RVD at Genesis, all within the same night. Then we go into the second match of the night. It's Robbie T and Miss Tessmacher. They square off against Jesse and Tara. Robbie T and Tessmacher pick up the win in this match. And post-match, I guess something a little unusual, something a little different, but something that I really like. Another one of those segments involving Robbie T and a little bit of funky music and a little bit of fist pumping, and he ends up kind of wooing Miss Tessmacher, giving her a kiss and leaving her laying there. I mean, I'm really glad that they let Robbie T show some personality, and with Robbie E along with it, I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, this is some great stuff. I really enjoyed this segment. I really enjoyed how it came off. I already like Jesse and Tara. And I think this new Robbie T alongside Robbie E and possibly with Miss Tessmacher mixed in, I think this could make some real interesting television. Then we get the gut check match of the night. It is Jay Bradley versus Brian Cage. This is the first time in gut check history that we will get two prospective gut check competitors, and only one man will get the contract. So it's whatever superstar can go out there and really wow the judges is going to be the one who's going to get the TNA Wrestling contract. Jay Bradley was successful in this match, and it has been rumored since the Aces and Eights storyline started early last year that Jay Bradley could quite possibly be one of the men behind the mask. Now, as I let everybody know when I did my videos updating everybody on the Aces and Eights, there's a possibility that the guys that are playing the characters now that are under the mask may not be the guys that are eventually revealed. Now, since the angle started, Luke Gallows, who is now playing Doc, and Mike Knox, who they refer to as Knox tonight, so I don't know if he's going to end up keeping the Mike Knox name or what's happening there, but they have been playing their characters since the beginning, since the inception of this angle. Now, some characters, like I said, are just faceless characters that will never be revealed, and then some within due time will be revealed. But Jay Bradley did pick up the win in this match. This was a decent contest, a lot of back and forth action. It was a little short, but it was good for what it was. Then Joseph Park comes out. He's been training down at Ohio Valley Wrestling with Danny Davis, the trainer down there, TNA's official training grounds. It used to be actually the training grounds for the WWE. And if you guys want to see one of the best wrestling shoots, I mean, it's not too long. It's only a couple minutes. Search, God, the words just left my my head, my mouth, whatever you want to say. John Laurinaitis and Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette shoots on John Laurinaitis. And this is when he's talking about his time when he was the head booker for OVW and when John Laurinaitis was just taking over from JR, the Talent Relations Department for the WWE. I mean, this is some funny stuff. That's where one of my favorite lines that I made so popular a few weeks ago, "Thank you, fuck you, have a nice day," came from. That was a good old Cornette classic. And you know what? Joseph Park does not disappoint. I love this guy. I think Abyss, Chris Park, the person himself is just incredible. He's so versatile. He's able to play the monster Abyss, then he's able to do a complete 180 and play Joseph Park. I mean, these characters are so far apart, you could go around the world and meet on the other side. So Joseph Park comes out, and he wants to talk to Hulk Hogan, the general manager of Impact Wrestling. So Hogan comes out, and Hogan says, you know, you're still not ready. I trained with Hiro Masuda for 2 years, you know, and you've only been training for a short period of time. And Park says, this isn't between us. This is between me and the Aces and Eights. And Hogan gives in to Park's wish. Joseph Park will face off against the current television champion Devon at the Genesis pay-per-view. Then we go into a segment with Rood and Aries, and I mean, this is just a great segment. These two guys just have so much chemistry, and I would love to see a potential tag team actually come out of this. If neither one of these men become World Heavyweight Champion at the pay-per-view, I'd like to see a potential tag team come out of this. These guys have such great chemistry, and I'd love to see what they would do in the tag team division. I know they're main eventers, but sometimes you can have main eventers in the tag team division for a little while, and it just feels so right. Then we go into another tag team match. It's Jeff Hardy and James Storm squaring off against Robert Rood and Austin Aries. And during this match, Daniels and Kazarian end up coming down. They end up attacking James Storm. They've had a feud going on with him. And actually, we'll see a match at the Genesis pay-per-view between Storm and, I believe, Daniels. Kazarian faced off against Storm last week on Impact. During all the confusion, Austin Aries ends up clocking Jeff Hardy with the title. This is as Jeff Hardy was about to hit a second twist of fate, and Hardy and Storm ended up picking up the win in this match via disqualification. Then we go into what is supposed to be Anderson versus Kurt Angle. Anderson ends up backing out of the ring, and Mike Knox, who was unmasked last week in that steel cage match, comes out of nowhere. He ends up attacking Kurt Angle, ends up hitting him with that ball-peen hammer and leaving him lying. He strikes him at least 3 good times, at least twice, once in the neck, once in the spinal area, and once in the shoulder. And I mean, this looked real. And that's what they need to keep doing. That suspension of disbelief for just a minute. If the fan sitting at home is just for just a minute, if he's caught up in the show, it's going to pique his interest. It's going to keep him watching. And I do have to say, in the previous match, I forgot to mention this, but in the Jeff Hardy-James Storm tag team match, Mike Tenay and TNA mentioned once again a WWE mention. And like I said last week, I think it's complete BS that they can't make any mentions. I mean, these guys worked for years to establish themselves. Now they're supposed to come to this company and supposed to have a completely fresh slate. You're not supposed to know about any of these guys' incredible accomplishments, all the things they've done. I mean, how many times has Jeff Hardy been tag team champion in WWE? Intercontinental champion, World's Heavyweight champion, and they did mention that tonight. But back to the attack on Kurt Angle by Mike Knox, I mean, it was brutal. Then comes out the Insane Icon Sting, and Sting says, I'll hold back my guys if you hold back your guys. I want Mike Knox in the ring now. Sting ends up picking up the win over Mike Knox and ends up hitting him in the hand with a hammer. But then the Aces and Eights come out with Brooke Hogan. But we're going to backtrack real quick. Now, I understand Sting getting the redemption over Knox after Angle getting taken out. You know, it made sense. It was the logical progression of the series of events that were taking place. But the thing I don't like is every time the Aces and Eights get in the ring, they just always get beaten. They always look weak. I mean, when it comes to non-wrestling angles, they do great. When it comes to a wrestling angle, they're always getting defeated. And I think maybe that's the problem in modern-day wrestling, is too many of the angles that are being presented are wrestling angles that have been done and done and done and done and done. I think they need to think outside the box and do more non-wrestling angles. They can involve wrestling. They can involve culminations in matches. They can involve matches and feuds going along the way. But the core angle itself needs to be outside the box. And I think, yet again, let's backtrack. I think what they're doing with the Aces and Eights is interesting. But I think there's just so many plot holes at this point in time. It's resembling a wrestling angle. Doesn't mean I don't like it. Doesn't mean that I don't like where it's going personally. I know a lot of people don't. I enjoy Impact. I enjoy the way this angle's going, and I can't wait to see how it's going to unhash in the future weeks and months to come. But basically, the Aces and Eights bring out Brooke Hogan. They have her hostage, and out of nowhere, Bully Ray comes out. He's supposed to be suspended. He's supposed to be waiting outside, waiting for Brooke to come out. I guess the Aces and Eights intercepted Brooke as she was making her way to the car to meet up with Bully Ray and end up leaving the Impact Zone. Bully Ray comes out. He makes the save. Sting also assists him. Then comes out Hulk Hogan. You could tell he's fuming. He does not want Bully Ray in his building, and he didn't want Brooke in the building either. And both of them decided to show up and look at the problems that ended up causing. And basically, this turns out into Bully Ray asking for Brooke Hogan's hand in marriage. And next week on Impact, we're going to have a wedding. Now, you can tell Hulk Hogan was just fuming about this. I mean, he went walking up the ramp. I mean, what's Hogan willing to do at this point? I mean, it almost looked like the look in his face like he's willing to make a deal with the devil. And you could tell as Hogan was getting out of the ring, Sting was like, come on, man, it ain't that bad. You know, Sting's got some respect for Bully Ray, going all the way back to Bound for Glory, where these guys teamed together, and they ended up facing the Aces and Eights together. That was the night that, you know, the Bully Ray character changed, started to evolve, started to turn into something different. I'm not just talking about the simplistic face-to-heel turn. I'm talking about it's way more complex than that. And that's the thing about a lot of the characters in TNA wrestling. They're not just clear-cut heels or faces. They're not even just clear-cut tweeners. being an in-between character, if you guys aren't familiar with the term, the characters are very complex, and that's what I love about it. And that's what I love about this show. And I am so happy to be able to provide this review for you guys, my fans and subscribers. And I have to apologize about my voice. As you guys can tell, I'm not exactly on point like I usually am. I've been battling a sore throat all week. It started right before I did my Raw review Monday night, and it is just getting worse as the week goes on. The weather here in Connecticut has been all over the place. It's 20 at night, it's 40 during the day, it's 20 during the day, 30 during the day, 30-degree winds, snowing 7 inches, sunny the next day, raining, you name it. I mean, there is no norm around this place. Not that I expect it. I live in the Northeast, and I know anything could happen up here, obviously. But, guys, you heard about enough from me. Now it's up to you guys, my fans and subscribers, to drop your thoughts below. You got to hear some of my thoughts. Now I want to hear yours. For the effing brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com and the World Wide Web, my name is Brian Crazy. I thank you and have a great night.